topic is adolescent mental health. So I'll talk about it, and after that, I will prefer you people to ask me questions. If you have any doubt, then I will
Sure.
try my best to clear it. So, so before starting the session, I want to tell you that what is actually mental health. I will start by defining the definition of the health. What is the general health? So according to WHO, that is World Health Organization, we define health is a complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease or infirmity. So within this definition of general health comes the mental health. So mental health is also incorporated in general health, and mental health is like not only any absence of mental disorder or mental disease, but it is also like mental well-being and social well-being. So what is this mental well-being? Mental well-being is like how do we behave in day-to-day life, how there is interpersonal relationship between us with others, and how do we cope up with the different adversities in our daily life, day-to-day life activities, relationships, and also to lead a very healthy and productive life. So these things comprises the mental health. So it is not just only any absence of mental disease. There is no disease and I am happy, I am mentally healthy. It is not that. If you can maintain this, all the things, then you can say that you are mentally okay, mentally sound. So, and this healthy and productive life, what do we mean by this healthy and productive life? Here I want to quote someone from the one great American psychoanalyst, Eric H. Erickson. From his work, we know he is defined very nicely. Eric H. Erickson divided our the human life cycle into 8 stages of the life according to the ages. So during these 8 stages, the age span from 40 to 60 years, he termed this age group as generativity versus stagnation. I am just specifically saying this stage, the seventh stage of the life from Eric H. Erickson. So, what he described in the generativity versus stagnation. According to him, the generativity from this 40 to 60 years of age, uh, this is not adolescent age group, this I will come later. So, he says that generativity is like leading a productive, creative life, the passing on the information from one generation to the others. Uh, the skill when a elder generation, elder people at 60 years of age, when he pass the skills or productive whatever done to the next generation, the creating the next generation, establishing the next generations, then he also feel like he got a reputed position in that society and feels pleasure, feels a fulfillment. When he looks back, he can say. He can look at his life and say that now I have done these things not only for me, for my family, but I have done these things for my society, for the next generation. I have given them this. So this gives him the pleasure and fulfillment. So this is the generativity. And opposite of that generativity is like stagnation. So what is this stagnation? When a person cannot lead a productive or healthy life, like creative life, then he goes toward the stagnation. Uh, he just engaged in the pseudo activity. He in his profession he just engaged in like technicality of his profession. Technicality, anybody can become expert like after 4 or 5 years of work in a technicality of any profession. He may not be the productive. So this kind of people generally engages in technicality. They are not doing any productive, and they are indulged in behavior of escapism, like escaping the this profession by showing the technicality. And for this escaping behavior, they are indulging in the like drugs abuse, alcohol abuse, any other sexual infidelity. So this kind of work, these things. So when this kind of people looks back at the 60 years of age, like or the end of the life, when they look back at their what I have done in my whole life, they think that everything is empty. I could not done much. I could not done much for the society, for the other people except myself. So these people feels frustrated. They don't feel the gratification like the generative people. So these things, this generativity versus stagnation, this I have quoted this to just explain that what do you mean by a productive life? how can we lead a productive life? So that comes under the mental health. It is not just the living, but also living with a dignity, with care for the society, care for the other human being, and at the end of the life you feel gratified that no, I have done something. So this is how we should live. Uh, Now coming to the main topic, there is adolescent mental health. Also, what is the I will speak about the adolescent and the younger adult group. It's early adulthood. So, which age group comprises this group of people? Which age? Generally, 11 to 19 years, it is considered as adolescent group. That is teenagers group, and up to like roughly 24 to 25 years of age, we consider them as adult, early adult. So, I will speak about mostly about these two groups: it's early adulthood and adolescent group. So why this group is necessary actually? Maximum of the I have choose this group because maximum of you are student, you are falls in this category of the people. That's why I chose this, and hopefully you will can relate to this group and whatever the problem generally faced by this group of the people. So why this adolescent and younger age group, younger early adulthood is necessary? Actually, this is a transition phase. Adolescence is a transition phase from the childhood to adulthood. So what is this? Why? What the things happens in this transition phase? We know childhood. What we do in the childhood. In the childhood, we are not responsible for our behavior. Everything takes us as a like as a child. We live in a protective environment of our family, of our home, of our relatives. Uh, but and adulthood, what is adulthood? You are completely on yourself. You are a responsible person. You are considered as a responsible person. You are responsible for all of your behavior. Uh, you are answerable to your behavior. And what is this as the adolescent stage? Adolescent stage is transition between this childhood and adulthood. In adolescence, you are developing some independence. You feel independent, but you don't have much knowledge about what you are doing, about your consequences, about taking the decision. You don't have the knowledge. You will gain experience slowly in this phase. So this adolescence phase is actually a stage of tremendous possibility. In front of the student or adolescent, there is the whole life. There is whole way how he can lead his life, which profession to choose, which stream to choose. So what he want to do. So full of energy. So this is a period of tremendous possibility for them, for the adolescent. But with this tremendous possibility, there also comes lots of stress and anxiety in adolescent period. What are this stress and anxiety? There are lots of stress on adolescents to fit socially because he comes out of the home now. He's like everybody. He also feels like I am now a responsible person. I want to behave like a responsible person. So there is a pressure on them to fit socially. Academic pressure is obviously there. Everybody wants to excel in academics. So academic pressure is very common in adolescent stage. And there is also expectation from the adults to behave responsibly in the society, in the family, with the friends. So these are there. So this creates some pressure, the tremendous pressure on the adolescent group. Adolescence is also a group of, it's a time of like making one's identity, sexual identity. Generally, after puberty, everybody, male or female, they gain the sexual characters, secondary sexual characters. They try to differentiate. They know the differentiation between the genders, the male and female. So they want to establish their identity. It is a period of to make sexual identity. It's a period to make develop relationships. Relationships not with the only with the opposite gender, but relationships with the same gender people to make friendship. Kinsmanship is like in this age group they used to build. They want to make royal friends. They want to incorporate in a group. We are a group of people. They want to show strength to the other people in the society. So these things are there. There is also a conflict occurs in this age group, this adolescent. This conflict is like they want to show independent. They want to live independently. They feel that now I have become adolescent or adult. I have grown up. Now I will do whatever I want to do. These things comes in their mind. But at the same time, it also comes in their mind that there are some rules set by the society, some family, some elders. I have to follow these rules also. So there is a conflict going on between this feeling of independence and to obeying that rules. So this conflict occurs in the mind of the adolescents, and this conflict also gives rise to the stress. So these things are these are the few things which gives lots of stress and anxiety to the adolescent period. Uh, Apart from these things, what are the other diseases? What are the other disorders actually, not diseases, uh, faced by the adolescent period? Stress and anxiety disorder, these are common. This leads to the depression. And another is the personality disorder. Personality disorder, like different personalities are there. Personality is like ingrained behavior of a person, this inflexible behavior of a person. Whatever the situation, he does not, he can't change his behavior according to the situation. He becomes a like a rigid person. So personality disorder is also common in this age group. And this stress, anxiety disorder, depression, personality disorder, these all are the mental disorder and gives rise to the mental imbalance, sometimes the mental problem. This leads to some many people we hear nowadays very commonly that some people have committed suicide. This student committed suicide after result. So these things are these mental disorder combinedly it's mental illness that's drive the students for many students to commit suicides. Besides that, besides suicides, there is also another problem which is growing in the adolescent group nowadays. It was earlier also there, but it's now day by day it's growing. And there are many factors related to it for the growing of this behavior is substance abuse. Substance abuse means addiction. Now we can see the students are there. I was also a student. I was stayed in Guwahati Medical College hostel. So there I seen I have many friends in the AEC, Assam Engineering College also. So there we see how the quantity of the substance abuse used to be there among the students. And it's not only like medical engineering or other colleges also. Whenever the young people sit together, they need something to enjoy. So this substance abuse is like once in a month or like this, it's okay. Sometimes it's okay, but when it's become regular, then it really gives rise to problem. And one need to investigate this. What is happening? Is it all right? So substance abuse is also a problem. If we if you see the data, like statistics of the substance abuse, the most common substance abuse is seen is the alcohol among the students adolescent age group. Adolescents, it's among the all age group also. Alcohol is very common. After the alcohol, it comes the cannabis, and cannabis that is we commonly call it ganja, bhang. So these all groups come under cannabis or marijuana. This is also very common, and many singers are also there. They are promoting this kind of thing, so students are also get carried away with the emotion. So so cannabis is also growing up, and mostly it is seen in whatever I have seen personally in the engineering college hostels. This cannabis is seen more than in the than other hostels, and it is also growing quite common in the adolescent age group. Uh, so alcohol gone, cannabis gone. Very few percent, though it's limited. But opioids. What is opioids actually? Opioids is we say it's a morphine or like other substance which we get from the poppy plant. Poppy plant, that is opium. We commonly call it the heroin, brown sugar, these things. This is also common. Like 0.1% to 0.3% people used to consume opioids. So opioids is very dangerous, though it's taken by less quantity of people, but 0.3%, like in the 1.3 billion people of India, it is not very less in amount. Another abuse, substance abuse, which is common, which is seen now, and it's also rising. We know it is we call the inhalants or volatile substances. Inhalants like the dendrite, the erasers. These are the this comes under the category of volatile substances. So this is very also common. Earlier, it was like thought that only street children or children who are working group of the people who are dwelling in the slums, they are taking these volatile substances. But it is not now. It's known that many studies are done. This it's not only like street children or people from slums they are taking these volatile substances. It's quite common in other people's also students also group. So these things are very dangerous. This is also rising day by day. In the students group also it is seen quite commonly. So these are these things. This substance abuse is also a problem. It's also a mental disorder. It's itself and it's also rise to gives rise to other mental disorders also, other problems also, psychological problems. These things are quite common among the students. So what I said about the suicide also, I will speak little bit about the suicide also among the students category. According to Lookniti CSDS survey of 2012, it's seen that every hour one student, one adolescent commits suicide in India, and it is not a less number. Uh, it's every hour, it really matters. A student when a student commits suicide, and what is worry for us is that the age group there is 18 to 23 years of age. In this age group, the suicide rate is the most common in the India. In this age group, 18 to 23 years of age, and this comes mostly the students people belongs to this age group. And this suicide is only after the accident and the homicide. It is a murder or physical assault. It is the third most common reason of death in this age group. So this is really serious issues because generally we see that with increasing age the rate of suicide is increases. For the males, like after 45 years of age, mostly commits suicide, and in the females it is shown that after 55 years. But since the last century, this trend is changing, and now it is come that 18 to 23 years of age group is really common. So stress, anxiety is there. Now I come to the depression. What is this depression, and what is the statistics of the depression? One survey says that in 2017, one survey was done, and it is said that 4 out of the 10 students, 4 out of 10 students suffered from suicide in one time in their life, sometimes in their life. This and 18 to 33 years age group. In this age group, 1 out of 4 people. This goes beyond the early adulthood, but it's 18 to 33 years. It is seen that 1 out of 4 people had the depression, moderate to severe depression, and 6% of them in this age group, 6% of them have suicidal ideas at one time of their life. So these things is also dangerous. Like 6% of people in 18 to 33 years of age have suicidal thoughts sometimes. We know that only suicidal thoughts is thoughts is there does not mean that they will commit suicide, but these thoughts coming, some people may go for that. So this is also a dangerous trend. So these are the main basics problems we feel in the adolescent age group, and I have seen briefly what are the causes, what may be the causes of this kind of problems, and about the personality disorder, I must say that personality disorder like it's itself a problem. It's also treatable, but it's take long time. And personality disorder generally develops, we call it personality disorder after 18 years of age. But before 18 years of age, there are some traits we used to see in the patients, and from which we can come to a conclusion or diagnosis that no, this person may develop personality disorder. So what are this we see in the childhood or younger adolescence period, which can lead to the personality disorder. There are some disorders like ADHD, we say attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, and some other like conduct disorders we used to see in younger adolescents. So this, if any person, if any child has having this ADHD or conduct disorder, then there is high possibility that they will develop personality disorder in their later life. So what is this ADHD? ADHD is attention, as the name suggests, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. There is generally two components in this disorder. One is attention deficit. One cannot, this attention span is very slow, very low. If someone is saying something and it's like going beyond 1 minute, he can't give attention to this. He will just like fidget in his place, or he will give some other, he will look for other things. So very low attention span. And hyperactive like he cannot be stable. When he goes to the school, he cannot concentrate on the study. He will run here and there, or else like fidget in his seat. He's become restless. So this is generally seen in the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And what is the conduct disorder? Conduct disorder, there is a lack of empathy in this. Whatever the parents are saying, the child will not obey that. He will do whatever he wants. Staying at night, staying longer at the night time outside of a home, missing the school. He will say that I am going to the school, but not going to the school, going to the friend some other place, like missing the school. So this kind of traits, speaking lies. So this kind of traits we see in the conduct disorder. And this conduct disorder, if persists beyond adolescence, then it will go to the personality disorder. And what is the most common personality disorder in adolescence that is really harmful? It is that many personality disorders are there, but there is antisocial or dissocial personality disorder. This dissocial personality disorder is like lack of concern for others, lack of empathy for others. He will just do whatever he wants to do. He will not feel guilty for whatever he has done. Then committing the crime, committing burglary, grouping up with other people, and this kind of people, this people having personality disorder, they are also very like vulnerable for committing crimes and substance abuse. They usually go for most of them usually go for the substance abuse. uh, so this personality disorder also comes under the mental disorder in this age group. Now, what we can do actually, these are the problems we know roughly about this adolescent group. What we can do to cope up with this problem or to come out of this problem. Actually, the solution comes from the early adolescent. From it usually have to come from the home, from the parents, from the relatives. The value of the students when become the students depressed or anxiety, when they have like personal ambition, I want this percent of marks, or the parents have their ambition from the student. Parents want to do have nowadays parents have lots of expectation from their children that no, my children will do this, she or he will get this percentage of marks. So they have lot of expectation from the students. But when the students try to cope up with this, they try to fulfill their ambition, personal ambition or ambition of their parents. But after trying, when they think that, when they feel that no, this will not be possible for me, then they comes under the depression, they under stress. And at that time, they need counseling or support from their parents or some other people or some relatives. This is actually the crisis period of the students. When they try, this fear of failure. This after trying a lot, then comes the fear of failure. And fear of failure is one of the most actually the dangerous thing for the students or adolescent age group. There is uh, there is performance anxieties there. There is confusion, rule confusion among them that no, my parents want me to do this. They have those lots of expectation from me. I have done this, but I will not. I cannot fulfill their expectation. Then this, I am not suitable for the role. I am not suitable. I am not worthy. Hopelessness, worthlessness comes in their mind that I cannot fulfill their dream. So there is then the students or adolescents will say that the future is bleak. They become pessimistic, and at that time they usually go for the like suicidal thoughts or like committing suicide. They think about this. So here the rules of the parents or other family members comes. The parents should encourage them, to get better result, to do better in academic or the sports. But they should not enforce. They should not force them to have this kind of percentage, this kind of marks. They should not do this. Every child, every adolescent, every student is unique in her or his performance. Everyone cannot excel in academically, but they have some other skills which on that field they can excel. So this thing should be uh, noticed by the parents, and they should also like do counseling for them. If some parents, many times we see that if some parents have there is lack of communication with their children, then and if they see there is some problems with the students, then they can consult, they can employ other relatives to talk with their children, or like counselor from the school to talk with their children. So this thing is very necessary. The line of communication should be open between the parents and the children. And this value, moral value, which is incorporated among the adolescents in their childhood, we say it in our psychological terms, this development of the ego and superego. So this ego and superego development, like I am a social person, I have some social responsibilities, and it comes from the parents. It comes from the father figure, from the father or like father-like persons, from the grandfather. I should not only live for myself, I should live for the society. So I have to do something for the society. That is incorporated in the childhood only by their activity, by their talking, by their whatever the story their parents used to tell the students. And whenever the students develop this kind of moral superiority, they will not generally face the hardship or problem, or they will not have problem to cope up with the stress and anxiety in the society when they become adolescents, when they pass to the transition phase. So they have their this like mental strength. If any adversities comes in their way, they can tackle it. uh, and going to the other things, I will say some little bit. It's for all of you to look for your the for your friends, or like whenever you grow older, for your family member, for your children also. There are some warning signs. I should say this is actually going like a little bit uh, away from my topic, but still I will say that some warning signs about the suicide actually. We call it the warning signs. Before, actually, nobody, very few persons commit suicide impulsively. Like impulsive personality is there. They don't think much. They don't plan much before committing something, before doing any act. So some, except some impulsive suicide, there are other suicide like they take most months, days, like 6 months before committing suicide. And before this committing suicide, they have some, they give some warning signs. They give some like hint that I am going to commit something, I am going to do something. So it is very important for the family members or the school teachers to observe, to notice that warning signs. What are these warning signs? This is actually before committing a suicide. A person, as adolescents, will talk about the suicide. He will indirectly tell that I may not be near, I may not be there in future nearby you. They will feel helpless, worthless. They will feel like guilty that I am unable to perform according to my whatever expected from me. So for that reason, they will feel guilty. They will write poem, they will write poetry, they will write some essay, or nowadays they will post something in the social media, in the Facebook or WhatsApp or anything else in the Twitter, that there's some depressive story that and from this story we can feel that not everything is going naturally normal with them. They will whatever the valuable things they possess, they will try to distribute it among their friends or like their brothers and sisters. There will be the change in the pattern of the sleeping habit and the eating habits. Sleep changes, change in sleep patterns is very necessary to observe. Uh, there will be the missing of the classes. They will not interested in the sports or academic performance. Academic performance will go down. So if this kind of any symptoms we see in our adolescents, age group children or our friends, then we must inquire with them that what is wrong. Is there any problem? What is going on in your life? So others should inquire about this. The parents actually should inquire about this, should talk about them. And if anything they notice that their child is talking about like death or other thing, committing suicide, they should ask directly what you are thinking, what is going on in your mind. So this will give them, they will also get chance to express themselves, adolescent groups. Many people used to think that directly asking about the suicide, I may plant the suicidal thoughts in their mind. No, no. Actually, this is wrong. This is not right. If you speak about the suicide, they is actually giving the opportunity to talk for your child to talk about it. Because by the time if they talk about it, they think about it, they have got already sufficient knowledge about the suicide. By talking with them, you are not doing any harm. You will do good for the your child only. So by this way, we can actually deal with problems. We can lessen the problems, and the students also, or adolescents or young adults, they should also know that ups and downs coming in the life. Everything, the life is not made for to go smoothly. As a ship will sail in the sea, so ship will. It's not good for the captain to ride a smooth sail, because if there is weight, then it will give him courage. He will get experience. Same way, our life should go ups and downs. There should be ups and downs. If there will some positive things are happening in life, it's okay. If some negative things are happening in life, then also it's okay. It will give you the experience. It will give you the strength to face your challenges the next time more strongly. So everything we should take the positively. It is there that sometimes we feel depressed, sometimes we feel worried. It's okay, it's quite natural. It's not like that. If sometimes you feel like you are having low mood, you are feeling low, that you are having depression. No, it's not depression, it's quite natural. Everyone, every individual, every person feels ups and downs. We also have our ups and downs, but that doesn't mean depression. What is the depression? Depression is like persistently having low mood. Persistently you are having low mood, you are not laughing, you are not feeling anything, you are not enjoying, you are feeling lethargic, you are not having the strength in your body. Very easily you are getting fatigue. So if these things persist for beyond 2 weeks, then it is actually the depression. We say depression. And if you think that with this depression, generally mostly sleep pattern is to change, eating patterns is to change. You will feel like sometimes some suicidal ideas or thoughts may come there. You feel like worthless, helpless. You will feel like this. So if you have this kind of problem, any one of in your group faces this kind of problem, then it's better to consult some psychologist or get to taking help from a mental health professional. And I must say that there is also some stigma regarding the mental health also. So going for the psychiatrist also, and there is also like me. If I take the pill, if I take the tablet medication, this pharmacological treatment, there will be the some harm. I will have to take it for the long time. So this some misconception is there in the society. Many people have this misconception. Till now, I am practicing here for about last 2 years, and during my PG life also, very few patients who used to get directly who are come to me. The patients who are like psychotic, who are having abnormality in their behavior, mostly they go to the firstly they goes to the faith healers like mullah baba Kubiraj. They used to go there, and then they comes to us. Though it is decreasing day by day, but still we have to go lots. And you people also have some duty to perform these things, to spread mental health awareness, because you people also sometimes may face these things in your problem in your life. So whenever you face these things, first talk with your friends, your family. It's you need the family support from your peer groups, from your friends. And after getting this support, still if you think that you are having problem, you cannot perform your daily activities, your whatever your routine or your professional uh, occupational life properly, then you must come to the mental health professional. You take some medication if needed. There is nothing is there like if we take medicine, then I have to take it for the whole life. Or is having most many side effects like these things. Many people used to say side effect is there for the every medicine. If you are taking paracetamol also for your fever, that is also having side effects. This medicine is also side effect, but it is very rare. Very few people are having side effects, and it's also like side effects is also happen with very high dose. It happens. So for the low dose, initially generally we used to start with the low dose also. So don't think about these side effects. Uh, so this is the things actually I wanted to share with you on this day. I think it's very brief. Not I have said much, but these are the problems. These are the problems, and these are the like solution comes from these problems also. Uh, so generally faced by the younger people, adolescents group. Uh, and now I will be happy to get questions from you. If you have any doubt, anything you want to ask from this topic or from other, from your experience also, like, or from anything related to the mental health, if you want to ask, you are welcome. You can ask.
At first, I understand, Dr. Suman, it was a very nice, like, we have got a very like deep knowledge about the mental health. We've never had any communication about mental health. Thank you so much for all the information.
Thank
So
you.
at first, I'd like to take one question before our students or my colleagues ask you. I want to ask you about the insomnia. What do you think about insomnia? So does it comes under the mental health condition or it is a different thing? Because I can see many of the adult or many of the young generations nowadays having the problem with insomnia. So how can they cope up with insomnia and what is this condition of insomnia? So can you just
Yes.
give a light on it?
Okay, so in insomnia is like a broad term. Insomnia, generally we understand that it is a lack of sleep. Sleep disturbance is insomnia. But we divided it in some patterns. Like there is a problem in initiation of sleep. That you have gone to bed, but sleep is not coming on a time. There is delay in coming the sleep. Sleep is this is initiation of the sleep. Another is like continuance of the sleep. That you went to bed on the time at a general what time you used to go to the bed, you have gone, you got the sleep, but after some time, after 1 hour or 2 hours or half an hour, again the you got away, and the next time sleep
Right.
is not coming. Yeah. And another problem is that like we call it the phase change. Like you are getting the sleep, you are going to the bed like 11 or 12 o'clock, but you are getting sleep at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and you are waking up at like 10 or 11 o'clock. So there is
Right.
shifting of the phase. There is, we say it is the phase change. So these problems are there. Actually, in our mental health, sleep is like a very important indicator of mental health. If you are having a good sleep, you are having a sound sleep, then mostly your mental health will be, we say that you will be okay. You will have very less problem. So nowadays we can see this sleep changes because generally there is changes in the pattern of the sleep. We mostly the in our generation, younger generation, we have every one of us have mobile with us, like cell phone. Before, whenever we go to the bed, generally we have a habit to switch off the lights. Do we see the like we used to chat or whatever we are doing. Actually, I forgot to mention one thing on the addiction. I will just give 2 minutes about it. There is also addiction. It is now discussing. There is. It will come in our like next edition of our book. It is like internet addiction. So it's also coming in the substance abuse
Mm. Right.
pattern. Internet addiction is also having like three patterns. One is the compulsive gaming behavior. You will on your desktop or laptop and gaming will be there or whatever you will do. Like compulsively you will do these things. Another is like compulsive shopping. I think females are aware of it mostly. This compulsive shopping, they'll do unnecessary. They buy the things also. And another is like pornography. That is addicted to the pornography. So this is also a kind of addiction. If you're doing anything in the excess from the normal, it's an addiction. So our generation also, whenever we are going to the bed, we used to see the mobile, and when we switched off the lights, so this blue rays coming to our eyes, and that's cause problem for our actually sleep. For sleep, we need melatonin. There is a hormone named melatonin. This melatonin level should be rise in our blood. Our body temperature should come down. Our core body temperature should go low, and melatonin level should rise. Then we will get a proper sleep. But whenever there is light, any light, like mobile light is more dangerous. So whenever is there light, whenever light is on, then melatonin cannot secrete in the body. Melatonin level does not go up. That's why we get and core body temperature of body also does not go down, and that's why we get the sleep problem. And there is also, as I said earlier, so this is like for our day-to-day activity, there's we are getting the sleep disturbance. We are changing the pattern of the sleep. Another is like if you are having any distress, you are having any anxiety, having any depression, then also you will have less sleep. Your sleep disturbance will be there. Mm. Because there is whenever you have depression, there is changes in the neurochemicals in our mind, in our brain. So these changes in the neurochemical, mostly serotonin and dopamine, they will change the sleep pattern. So this creates the insomnia. For this we have to do some healthy habits. We need to maintain the sleep hygiene. We should choose the one particular time to go to bed, and within this time I will get sleep. If you want to see the mobile, check the mobile, do it for like 15 minutes or half an hour. After that, switch it off. There should be a perfect time for going to the bed, perfect time to wake up. If you maintain this time period, and there is, you should not, whoever having suffering from insomnia, they should not sleep during daytime. If you are getting sleep at daytime, then you will have sleep will come delay. There will be delay in getting sleep at night. So there should not be daytime sleeping. By maintaining this sleep hygiene, actually we can control this problem much. And if it's not by maintaining, not by not only by maintaining hygiene, it's not getting solved, then we need go to the health professional for these things.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll take one more question that most of the students are asking this question to me, so I can pass it on to you. That how
Okay.
can you identify or what are the symptoms then we can see that a person is going through depression and how can that person come out of depression?
Okay. Okay. Very good question. Actually, depression. Little bit I said earlier also. There are some signs and symptoms of the depression. There is three major signs of the depression. There is, we say it like low mood. The common thing will be first you will not be feel happy. There will be your mood will be low. There's always will feel low. There is low mood. Then there is whatever like pleasurable activity, like whatever you did earlier to get the pleasure. You're playing with your friends or watching TV, going for the movie. These things you have done to get pleasure. You are not getting pleasure from these things. You are watching the TV, your favorite programs, your favorite cartoon, but still you are not enjoying. So this is also one symptom. Low mood is there already. You are not feeling happy. You are not getting pleasure from whatever the pleasurable earlier. And there is like easy fatigability. We say you are feeling like weakness. You are feeling weak very easily. Earlier you can walk like 1 kilometer, half an kilo, but now you cannot walk for 1 kilometer. After giving few steps, you are feeling weak, fatigability. So these are the three major symptoms. There's low mood, then not getting pleasure from which you are earlier you used to get pleasure, and there is easy fatigability or weakness. These three symptoms must be there. Associated with these symptoms, there are some minor symptoms are there. Like there is changes in the pattern of the sleep and eating pattern. You will not feel your appetite will be lower. You can't eat properly. You are not getting sleep properly. If you are also getting sleep when you woke up, like early morning awakening, we say. Like earlier, you used to wake up at 6 o'clock. Now you used to go to bed at 12 and you used to wake up at 6 o'clock. Now you are going to bed at 12 o'clock, but you will wake up at 4 o'clock. Like 2 hours earlier, you are waking up. So this is going on continuously. Early morning awakening is there. Eating habit is changed there. Now you are having thoughts of like suicidal ideation, like feeling that if I get died, it would have been better. And guilt feeling, like you are having guilt feeling. I have done something wrong. Like this kind of thinking is there. There is a feeling of helplessness, worthlessness. Whatever I will do, I have nothing to do. I can't do anything. I am not valued for anything. This kind of thinking are there. These minor symptoms are there. Mm. So this kind of symptoms is are there, and if it persists beyond 2 weeks period, more than 14 days continuously, then you will say that you are having like depression. Some ups and downs are maybe there, like day to day life. Sometimes I may feel low. After some time, like 1 hour, I may feel high again. I will be happy. I will be love. But if this low feeling low, this persists beyond 2 weeks, then you will say that I am having depression. This if these symptoms are there, like three major symptoms, minor symptoms are also there with you, then you will say that someone is having depression.